get started, so if you can stand and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, everybody, welcome. Kathy, if you can do a roll call, please.
You got it. King.
Present.
Pugh.
Present.
McDonald.
Here.
Galogly.
Here.
Deskin.
Here.
Bergbauer.
Here.
Bartleson.
Here.
Saban. We have a quorum.
All right, me friends, I see Bill Carroll is here to open us up.
Good evening, everybody. Please pray with me. Dear God, I am especially thankful that we live in the country we do, where we get to choose and elect, Lord, our governments. I'm especially thankful for the government we have and the people we have in this council room, Lord. And as we move into a lively season coming up the next couple of weeks, I just pray for peace. I pray for peace in our country, peace in our state, peace in our city, and peace between neighbors, Lord, as we get to celebrate that process of election and move on to the next season, Lord, of what you have for us. I pray a prayer of blessing right now over this council. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you and be gracious to you. And the Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. In your name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, liaisons, anybody got anything?
I do. Lisa wants to remind everybody that your presence at the budget review meeting, that you attend that so that she can do her due diligence. The first public viewing of that will be the first week or the first meeting in November. So having those meetings and allowing them to do their work will make that guideline or deadline. So, and also what I alluded to earlier was we have a new hire, a part-time co-op high school student who's taken an interest in our waste management division and taken an intern position at the sewage treatment plant. So a lot of opportunity there long-term in terms of every municipality needs a treatment plant, and those guys, talented guys, are kind of hard to come by. So if you can't find one, you got to grow one, and hopefully he'll be one that we can pull into the scheme and have a long time employment with the city.
All right, very good. Joanne, you got something?
Yes, so the fall winter property beautification contest is in full bloom right now. Applications are being accepted through October 8th through the 31st of December. What's new this season is one winner will be per ward. We do have flyers here that were given to us. Everyone has them at their little seating area. That when you do find that home that you think needs that recognition, please give them a flyer so that they know they've been nominated by you, and then give the information to Ann, so that way she can go ahead and send them an official invitation to come to the meeting that's going to be February 5th. We will recognize all those homes that were nominated. Residents can nominate their own homes, of course. Neighbors can nominate a neighbor, but we're going to do our part in seeing if we could do our part in each ward to find a couple homes that we can recognize. It's been great so far, and we just want to make it a little bit more exciting. And the winner will get, let's see, what is it? $50 gift certificate that they'll be able to spend in the city of Lockport. Okay, so please, let's all do our part so that way we can see how this all turns out. This is new this year, or this season, so
Thank you.
see how it works out.
Well, thank you, Joanne.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I've got a police department liaison report. On October 9th, last week, Lockport police officers participated in the Tip a Cop at Coombs Corner. Did you guys serve food and non-alcoholic beverages for tips? But they raised $3,300 for Special Olympics.
Nice. Fantastic.
And then on October 12th, Lockport Police Department put up a team at the Lockport Rotary Club's 6th annual coffin races. Sadly, because Sonny was not able to coffin jockey, we had a heavier person in the coffin, and the police department did not win, but finished third. But they plan to make a strong comeback next year. So congratulations for third place, I guess. And then on Halloween, trick-or-treat hours are from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. in the city. And during that time, the police department will have their haunted squads out in the neighborhoods. So they'll have some folks from Hell's Gate dressed up in the back and officers in the front driving, hopefully not switched, handing out candy throughout the neighborhoods. So if you see them, thank them for helping keep the city safe, and get some candy for saying thank you.
Are you guys past that, are you probably right in the middle of that awkward stage where it's like, I still want to go get candy, but it's getting weird now, right? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, good. Get over it, man. Just go. I like it, yeah.
Put a sheet over yourself and
Yeah, just
grab a
hide.
pillowcase
Yeah,
and
nobody
get some
will know.
candy.
All right, fun. All right, anything else?
Yeah, my liaison report is to introduce our Public Works Director. Brian Lovering is going to give us the latest update on the Illinois Route 7 channelization and what we can expect from here going out through the rest of the year.
There you go.
All right, thank you. We got some Illinois 7 starting construction this summer. With the construction starting, we're currently done with pre-stage utility work and the pavement widening section of the project. So today, they actually switched over to stage 1, which will last through the winter. Basically, the contractor will be working until November and then pick back up in probably March and April, depending on weather and stuff. So during this stage, what you'll see is the orange section, which if you're using 7th Street, which is kind of in the center of this map, is to the north of 7th. The orange section will be under construction, and traffic will actually be shifted to more of the south side of the road. It'll be a 2-lane road still for that. Everything will be behind barricades and everything, and the contractor will be going. So this will be different from pre-stage to stage 1, 2, and 3, is that we'll be able to maintain two-way traffic. So there won't be those shutdowns anymore where you have a end loader going across you and you're waiting for 5 minutes before you get to go again. If you go south of 7th Street, they're going to switch sides. Traffic will move to the north side through the intersection, and work will happen on the south side of that. All the work that'll be done will be the curb, the storm sewer, and new pavement all the way up through Binder. And then with that is that we'll move in, come probably around May, we'll move to stage 2, which will be the center section of the roadway. That'll last about 4 to 6 weeks. That's a quicker section, it's just re-hogging out the pavement. And then what we'll do is these two, the oranges, will actually switch sides, and we'll do the remaining portion of the construction all the way through basically this time next year. At which time, hopefully by end of September, hopefully, or mid-October, we should have the 3-lane cross-section that allow through lanes to continue to move and allow those turning movements to get into the businesses and the driveways along this section of roadway to function a little bit smoother and stuff. So that's where we're at.
Well, thanks, Brian.
Excellent.
No problem.
All right, did everybody? Who's got something?
I got, let's go to, I got this out of order, sir. We have the Odor Alert Network here for some Century members to be recognized, and Ken, you want to come up? Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Thank you, Ben, for the opportunity to come before you tonight. My name's Ken Runkle. I'm with American Environmental. I'm the consultant for the OAN. This past year marked the 20th anniversary of the OAN, which began as the Odor Alert Network in Lamont and expanded its reach to Lockport and Romeoville. In the early years, there were double and triple odor complaints and investigations. In the past few years, those numbers have dropped to single digits, and we even had a year ago 0 in an entire year. The Century network of local citizens has been an essential part of the OAN from the beginning. And along with local government and local industry, they have helped key the success of the organization over the past 20 years. So tonight, we are here to recognize the Century Network members from all 3 communities. So thank you for doing so. And some of whom have been on board for 20 years, since the beginning. All right, so if we could,
Yes.
we've got certificates here for each one of them. So Mayor, I'm gonna, if it's all right, I'll read their names, and they're gonna come forward, and we'll have everybody just stand up here together until we get everyone up here. Would that be all right?
Yeah.
All right, got it right here, okay. So first, from Lockport, we have John Schultz. Next from Lockport is Grant Spooner. From Lamont, Tom Ballard.
I remember Tom, the first time you guys came to pitch the whole
Milton Nichols.
For me, it was still going to Lockport.
This is Milton Nichols. Brian Rinke is next. Bill Peters. From Romeoville, Chris Orlano. Who's there? Here she comes. And Jill Morago. Did I miss anybody? So again, on behalf of the OEN, thank you for this opportunity.
If you don't mind, just for a moment, I would just like to explain to everybody who's here what exactly the OAN does. So, you're outside and you smell something really obnoxious, right? And you want to blame your brother, little brother, right? Your sister. But it's just a persistent problem. Something's wrong, right? And the OEN network really just kind of goes out and investigates it and tries to find it. And oftentimes they could be, something leaking at the refinery. It could be something. Actually, I gave my daughter an honorary OAN certificate one year because every time we go for a walk, going on our way to Delwood, she's like, "What stinks?" And I'm like, "I can't smell it." She has a really good smeller. Well, it turned out it was the Briggs Street lift station problem. She kind of sniffed it out, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh," because I always thought when we first were contracting with OAN is like, when they told me about what they do, I'm like, "Wow, do you have some kind of van with a big ball on top that senses smells?" And they're like, "No, sir, right here." No, so it really is about people going out and just investigating it until they find it. And so we very much appreciate all the work that goes into that. So thank you.
Oh, are they getting hats? Where are the hats from? Oh, for the flag. I knew that. I just forgot.
One person who could not be here tonight is Iris Hack, who is battling very ill health. And she's here from the beginning, and we hope she'll be able to come to next year.
Need some new young blood on the EMA. Oh, yeah, have a snack.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Excellent. I'm gonna close that door.
All right, Benjamin, what do you
Yeah,
got next?
the next item, Mayor and members of the council, was just a quick thanks on a partnership that you've reviewed before on the I&M Trail bike path connecting to the Centennial at 135th Street. We had a nice grant of like $450,000 from Citco, and we all partnered. Romaville and Lockport put in about $140,000 each, I think, as well. And this was a design plan that we had brought to the council way back even in 2021. And it's nice to see that it finally got constructed. It was all completed this spring. This is just some of the quick pictures of what was occurring. It was both the bike path and the roadway used to be a mess. And you can see how much nicer it looks today with the green space and the green lines for a safer way to travel for cycling. And there was a before under the viaduct there was just gnarly. It looks so much more inviting today and continuing the path. And there's some wayfinding signage that was added and beautiful mural. So everything looks great. We did a little ribbon cutting with the mayor of Romaville and Lockport and Ralph from the Forest Preserve. So it was just nice to see everything to come together, and I thought I'd do a quick update for you just to show you what happened. And wanted to mention what's next in regards to bike paths. We've talking about something called the Lockport Loop Trail, was something that the Forest Preserve had brought to our attention, gosh, I mean, way back when. It's kind of been reinvented a little bit and trying to find ways to get out to the Des Plaines River Path, something we kind of discovered on our own is during the old canal days, and we realized, wow, there's a lot of beautiful areas out here that the residences just can't get to. Now that we own the Chevron Park and other ways to access it from Division, we think we can do some trails and access down to the locks and get out to the water. And it really is a beautiful spot out there. The mayor and I went out there on some bikes the other day just to check it out. And it's completely quiet and serene, and it's something that we're trying to work on to get grants. Maybe Citgo would give us some money. We're going to be meeting with the Corps of Engineers and the Coast Guard, of all people, have some jurisdiction on the river wall in Lockport. So just want to let you know we're working on it.
Steve, is that an e-bike?
Yeah. I think if I rode a regular bike now, I'd pass out.
Busted.
Yeah. That's the
It was a long
shame.
way out there.
Yeah, Ben brought his e-bikes out, so it was pretty cool.
Ben, is that the path? That
No, that's not. Just
Okay.
that you
We
can see
would
that
like
we'd
it
all
to be
fall
a
into
path.
our deaths.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the actual Corps of Engineers river wall. You're not supposed to be out there, kids, so. We snuck out there to take a look, but we'd like it to become a pedestrian path with, proper safety guidelines.
No, I mean, ideally, the idea is to put the pavement where the grass is, like a strip there, and then have like a jersey wall or a guardrail along the canal wall, so you don't, kind of like it is if you go south towards the lock number 1, you can see how they have a rail along the path there. But yeah, you guys, JR and Darren, we went out there in the golf cart during Old Canal Days a couple years ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really cool out here, and nobody gets to access it. So to be able to open that up would be really a lot of.
And to connect to I&M Trail, right, and just get more access to the lands here in Lockport, so.
And if things go, keep moving forward, so that 135th Street, that project that we did and Citgo helped with, if you ever rode it, the wayfinding really fell apart. When you got to 135th Street, you didn't even know if the trail continued. And so this really makes it clear that you go up and over through Isla Cache and all that. And then, so Lamont recently received a grant for a pedestrian-only bridge. That really low railroad bridge that's over there? It runs along next to that. So that way you can get back from you're on the west side of the canal, the way the path goes. Now people don't have to ride over the high bridge. They can go on this pedestrian-only bridge back to Lamont. So it really starts to connect our cities together. And then the Forest Preserve, as you guys know, they did that 355 bike path that goes from the south and currently ends at 159th Street. The plans are to take that from there to 135th,
Right.
and then back over to connect this. When it's all done, you should be able to ride all these
Easy.
paths continuously. So
It'd be great.
this is the big picture.
Okay. Just wanted to share that information.
Well, they built out east of 159 all the way to World, right?
That part of the 159th Street plan, yeah, there's a path that goes to Orland.
I ride
Yeah.
Homer all the time from 355. You can duck down, and then you can duck down like behind where, like front row and the Culver Bay, you
You can literally go all the way and not be anywhere near the street. It's really nice.
That's good. All right, everybody. Well, thank you, Ben. So why don't we, we're going to, looking for a motion to have a consent agenda tonight.
I'll make that motion.
All right, JR and Renee, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'm going to do a little teaching time here. So, by the way, for the adults that came in, all these kids aren't here because we're banning skateboards or anything. They're here because they're interns with the city, and they're kind of learning how city council works. So just so you guys know, what we're about to do is a consent agenda. These are things that we have talked about at the former meeting and had a discussion on, and it might even have discussions in prior meetings. But we eventually got to a point where everybody agrees that this is something that is something we're willing to say yes to, whether it's an ordinance or a motion for doing something. And just discussions, we're kind of done. So we put it on what's called a consent. And so all these items here that we're about to go through were things that we've previously discussed at other meetings. So that is what a consent agenda is. All right, so we're looking for approval on our regular city council meeting minutes from October 2nd, our committee of the whole meeting minutes from October 2nd, our payroll period ending September 29th, bills through October 8th, and the final development plan for a commercial building with the C2 community commercial zoning at Lockport Plaza. That's over by the sports huddle and that addition to those folks. So that's resolution 24-102. So looking for a motion for approval.
So moved.
All right, Joanne and Renee, and may we have a roll call?
King.
Yes.
Pugh.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes?
Saban.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, now we're going to get to our regular action items. So now these items potentially could have been on the consent agenda, but sometimes one of us feels like, well, just in case there's some more things to discuss or we had an outstanding question, we'll put it here so that we can still talk about it or people can, speak to it themselves. So first thing on the agenda is approving and adopting the flag that was presented by our flag committee as an official city flag. So we're looking for a motion to approve resolution 24-103. Option 2.
Second.
Okay, this is Renee and
Susan.
Susie. Was there any further discussion or comments from everybody?
I like the other one.
I know, me and,
Yeah.
and then it's fine. I know that, me and Jonathan, we kind of like one of the other versions, but I think this is very good. And just so everybody understands what happened was, Zach came to me, the council with, Zach, please just stand up for a second. Zach came to us with the idea of doing a city flag, a number of months ago, and I said, it's a great idea, we love it, but let's do this in a way that you would have to approach anything at this level, right? Let's get a committee together, let's get a call out for other people that would want to be involved in this and some of the other, in fact, I want to make sure we recognize you guys too, because to say thank you, but the committee came together and they had a good discussion over a couple months about what this design could be and elements that would represent, and so they came and presented it to the council the last meeting, and this is great. So now it's time for us to officially adopt it. And
Mayor, could you just explain what the map is saying?
yes, well, Zach, I'll let you do that. Why don't you explain to everybody what exactly you see here?
If you were involved in the creation of this flag, come on up to the podium.
So the background color is maroon. That's the color that the city uses on a bunch of official documents. It's also the color of the high school. The blue stripe that's a bit wavy is the canal. And then if anyone has been to Lincoln Landing and you've gone down to the Lincoln statue on the actual canal, there's limestone rings around it. So aesthetically, they represent that, but symbolically, they represent Lockport's influence on the surrounding region and the state.
Well said, thank you. All right, so if there's no further discussion, we'll take a vote to approve.
I think this is a beautiful flag. I really like it. You boys did a great job.
All right.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut
Sorry.
off any other comments. But if anybody else, then we'll do a roll call, please.
All right, you got it. King,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Galogly,
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes?
Saban.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Well done. And if you guys don't mind, I would just like to recognize your hard work.
Stand up.
So, we got
You're gonna have a filibuster?
we got Nathan, we got Andrew, so come take your, so the Aiden's here, I know not everybody's here, Marty, Zach. And then what we'll do is, there goes Zach. We'll just get these to the, oh, there you guys are, thank you for coming out. So, grab your certificate, and then the other thing I've got is, the really cool stuff. Pins. Thank you, Jonathan. You gotta have the cool hat, right? Every certificates, they just, you know, they're in a drawer or in the garbage. But hats are cool, man, so thank you for the, all your hard work on this stuff, you guys. It was really fun to work with you, and, it was exciting. And then also, you get the fun outstanding citizenship pin, so.
Put that in.
All right, guys, we'll get a good picture. Come on, we'll go over here in front of the council's hall. All right.
Just to be clear, I like this flag. The other one was a version of this flag. It wasn't like there was another flag design team, and I'm like, oh, those guys did a better one.
You can't back out of it, John.
I don't have it. It's okay. Might be in the packet, but it's not.
Yeah. As well you should.
All right, friends. All right, so next we have we're looking for a motion to approve ordinance 24029. It's the amendment to our city code to prohibit the sale of psychoactive drugs.
So moved.
Analog. Darren? Second by Renee. I do have a card from a person who would like to speak on the agenda. So, Brenton, are you here? Please come on up, speak your piece.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Brenton Wilkie, and I'm a lobbyist representing the Global Kratom Coalition. I want to take a few moments of your time to explain what the Global Kratom Coalition represents and how we approach the safety of kratom. First, as an organization, the Global Kratom Coalition seeks to establish a safer kratom marketplace by dedicating resources to advancing scientific research, driving consumer education, and developing regulations that are backed by science in order to protect consumers whilst ensuring access to kratom. I'm not up here saying that there should be unlimited access to kratom and other similar products. However, I am saying that there's a responsible way to regulate kratom to make sure that consenting adults can still access it responsibly. I will detail these regulations shortly. History has shown that bans do not work. Early examples of this include prohibition, and more recently you have examples like flavored vape bans. Both instances are perfect examples of pointing to the fact that bad actors will continue to sell products while responsible operators exit the market. The City Council acknowledged in the last meeting that citizens could go to other municipalities and bring the product back, as well as purchase kratom online. This patchwork of bans and regulations across the state is confusing to responsible customers, and ultimately why we will file a bill during next year's legislative session to codify a regulatory framework for kratom that is consistent across the state. With this in mind, the Global Kratom Coalition has developed common sense legislation that enacts basic regulations. They include prohibition of sale of kratom products that are attractive to children, prohibit the sale of kratom to anyone under 21 years of age, and require retailers to keep kratom products in a location or display that is only accessible to store employees. The Global Kratom Coalition proposal also establishes a limit on 7-OH that is in kratom products. High 7-OH content in kratom products is due to the adulteration of the natural leaf and can lead to deleterious outcomes. For context, 7-OH isolated product contain novel substances that are not found anywhere in nature. The 7-OH found in these products is chemically different from the second amount of 7-OH that is found in dried kratom leaf. These 7-OH products are misbranded as kratom and misbranded as dietary supplements. I want to be clear, 7-OH products are not kratom. They are dangerous drugs masquerading as dietary supplements. These are different types of products that the City Council should be looking to eliminate from the market. That being said, the Global Kratom Coalition urges the City of Lockport to reconsider the proposed ban and instead enact common sense regulations that will actually protect consumers. Thank you.
Thank you, Britton, I appreciate it. All right, friends. If you guys have any thoughts, comments at this point, this is the time to do it. Otherwise, we will go to a vote.
I have something, and this is for Sunny. Does the code consider kava to be a psychoactive drug? Is that under that?
It's not listed as one of the prohibited substances under this ordinance.
Okay, so my concern is that when the business owners, if they lose the ability to sell kratom, they're going to find something else to fill their shelves. I know this was a big laugh last time, but I realize that kava is a natural product and it's like kratom, and kava is supposed to be mild. Where the problem becomes is if we remove the kratom, what are they going to put on their shelves? They're going to put kava on there. This kava, if you're telling me that the kratom has been, other products are being put in there to make them more dangerous, what is not to stop a manufacturer from taking kava and putting dangerous products in there too? So I believe that kava should be removed too, as well as kratom.
I don't disagree, and that's why I was so adamant with the specific language of non-regulated psychoactive substances, which unfortunately is not found in this ordinance. I don't know why I was ignored. I was. Because it covers kava.
Darren, I think the ball got rolling.
Huh?
I think you got the ball rolling on this.
Well, yeah,
right?
but the thing is her concern is covered by the specific language that I insisted be in it. And
I think the way it's written, though, Darren, is that you can say no to kava right now. If it's got psychoactive properties, then we could, in fact, tell them it doesn't have to be named specifically. And I think that was where we were trying to, and I think it was one of the things that was some of the concern, is like, is this something that we have to name specifically each and every time?
we didn't have to.
Because it's got psychoactive properties. So you don't have to name kava. Kava's just, if it's got psychoactive properties and it's problematic, then we could, in fact, tell, retailers to stop selling.
That's why the language that I proposed was so important.
Yes.
And it was ignored.
And I agree with Darren. I wanted the whole language to be covering all non-FDA approved psychoactive drugs as well.
So the one concern I think that was brought up was if the state then regulates it, then everything that we've said is we don't want sold would then be void. You'd be able to sell it.
Correct. If it's right, it would be non-regulated. So anything that's non-regulated, non-FDA approved.
But
But if it's regulated, are we worried about it?
if it's,
Right, like for instance, recreational marijuana is regulated, but we've banned it.
we've banned it.
But if we said no unregulated marijuana, that's what we're going to ban, that ban would be fruitless at the moment because it's now regulated. So we would have to sell recreational marijuana.
No,
But we already banned it, so.
We would just amend this ordinance sometime in the future. It was so simple, guys.
Yeah. I think
What I proposed was so simple.
if I could address that, I believe that we addressed that at the prior discussion because the issue was enforcement. If you put in just psychoactive drugs, it could include, it's harder to enforce. This is very delineated with definition of kratom, other novel synthetic drugs the studies have found that kava doesn't have the same opioid effect that kratom does.
Yeah, but then if you,
But just if I could finish, there are places that sells kava tea, like CVS or,
Walgreens.
Starbucks or, other places in which it's not, it doesn't have the level of concern that kratom does, in which that's where a lot of the communities have specifically banned kratom and other psychoactive drugs. And it lists the compound, and I believe the gentleman who was here earlier was talking about the 7-hydroxynitrogynide, which is, I think that's what he was indicating, that, kratom and any of those products, but not limited to, the other 7-hydro that he was talking about, is what impacts and what is damaging to people who take it. Kava at this point has not been shown to have that same effect. And unless there's a study that indicates that it has the same level of concern as kratom, I would be happy to read them. But so far, the research has found that kava doesn't rise to the same level of kratom. And part of the purpose of having a law is to have specific levels, and not everything meets that level. And you have to have that line somewhere, because when we have when there's a complaint and we have to send a letter out, it's better to send a letter out with a copy of the ordinance indicating all the synthetic cannabinoid, the compounds that make up for that, so they could look at those products, versus if you put any psychoactive products, you're going to have the, business owners going, well, what about this? What about that? And it becomes a gray area. If there's concerns on kava, we can address it at a later time. If there's a study that indicates that people are taking kava and they're all of a sudden being hospitalized, or some other, results from negative impact from kava, we'll address it. But at this point, I believe we've done the discussion, we've done the special meeting, we've done, a couple of city council committee of the whole meeting, and what's presented is something that other communities have done. I haven't seen any community that just says we're banning the psychoactive drugs, period, because it covers so much.
Do we have data on hospitalizations for kratom?
There has been death linked to kratom in some, not here in Lockport, but, there has been nationwide.
Okay. Well, why don't we do this? Because like you said, we've had a number of meetings on it. We can vote on it. If by chance how the vote goes, we can address how we approach it afterwards. But why don't we go ahead and take a roll call, and so we can make a decision about where we're at.
Okay, you got it. King?
Yes.
All right. Pugh?
No.
McDonald?
Yes.
Galogly?
Yes.
Deskin?
Yes.
Bergbauer?
no.
Bartleson?
Yes?
Saban?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. And look, I appreciate we had a lot of discussion on this, and it was thoughtful, and it's very much appreciated, so thank you, council. All right. I guess it's everything on our city council meeting. Open floor comments? Anybody got anything? All good? All right, then we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All right, so Joanne and you guys can fight for second. Okay.
Who was second?
Susan?
Susan was second? Okay.
All in favor?
I would out in, so I can go family.
Or, sorry, King, sorry.
Present.
Okay. Pugh.
Present.
McDonald.
Here.
Galogly.
Here.
Deskin.
Here.
Bergbauer.
Here.
Bartleson.
Here.
Saban. We have a quorum.
All right, so CD1, what do you got there? Thank you, Mayor and Council. The three items on your agenda for tonight are related to the email that I sent to each of you, related to facade grants and code compliance grants that will push us above our budgeted amount for the year, for the allocation that we have. That doesn't mean that it's wrong, bad, good, or otherwise. If you have any questions about where we are with the budget or where those funds come from and how much funding is remaining in that account, Lisa has all that information, but I'll run through each one of the applications. We can talk about all three of them after I go through all three of them if you want, or we could talk about them each individually, because I know that you'll have to suggest it for action or consent after each one. But I'll go through each one of them initially. This one's related to Resolution 24-104. The applicant is Tina Davidson. She is the director of Lupine Montessori. They are relocating the school to 948 North State Street. They are the former location of the Barrett's Hardware, if you're familiar with that. It'll be on your screen here in a second. They are requesting funds through the Facade and Site Improvement Grant Program for the rebuild of the front facade with architectural features, new windows, doors, awning, new dumpster enclosure, and new landscaping. The property is zoned C2, community commercial. It's located within the target area as designated by the city. Contractor bids were received and they were itemized in your packet. There is also another sheet that I gave each of you on your chair related to the funding totals. There was a little bit of a math error as we went through the three memos tonight to add all those up. So I wanted to give you kind of a complete summary of everything year to date that you have approved in addition to these three items here. But I will go through the rest of the information related to the case. The facade grant program allows for a 50% match up to $20,000 per facade and $10,000 for site improvements with a maximum of $50,000 per property for construction and architectural costs. Architectural fees are not in addition to the maximum $50,000 reimbursement. Rather, it counts towards the maximum amount and shall be limited to not more than $5,000. For this applicant, the Lupine Montessori, the applicant is eligible for a maximum of $45,000 for construction costs and $5,000 for architectural fees. The total amount that is eligible for the two pins that lie under her property on the lowest quotes that were provided. To date, and I will provide the corrected numbers here as I read through these, the City Council has approved $161,605 of the $150,000 facade grant budgeted amount for 2024. The 2024 co-compliance budget is $85,000, of which the council has approved $55,000 for a combined budget total of $235,000 and current total approvals of $216,605. Including the $50,000 for this project, the combined total allocation would be $266,605. With that, we recommend approval of the $50,000, again, as noted in Resolution 24-104. I can take any questions about this one. I don't know if you want to go through all three or if you want to talk about each one.
I think if you're telling us that, I mean, I think we understand. It's like, it's above the budget, but we have money in that fund, so that's fine. So we just happen to have more projects than normal.
Yes.
But it's good. It's good to have these projects. That's
Absolutely.
what it's there for. So I think we all understand that. So if you just want to, we can just say, are you guys okay with the consent on CD1 then?
I do have a question. I'm fine with this, but that picture, is that the back of the building? Is that back of Barrett?
Well,
The existing conditions picture?
Yeah, yes.
It's
Okay.
gross.
Wow, okay.
So, yeah, I mean, it'll be all three of the ones that you see tonight, plus the Villanova project, will completely transform this entire shopping center plaza. And I truly believe that this is a result of the decisions that you all made related to the water line grant that we applied for and were able to win and extend it all through these properties. These properties could not have sprinkler systems, which completely restricted their redevelopment ability. Now that we have that 12-inch water line in, they can all have sprinkler systems, can all be redeveloped as up-to-date standard code meeting developments. And so, you know, as one of your key strategic plan items from our 2023 to 2025 plan, we have been able to accomplish this almost in total. And by the end of 2025, I'm proud to say that through your approvals, this entire shopping center will be transformed in a brand-new gateway to our entire community. To be done within a 2-year span is pretty awe-inspiring. Very pleased with it.
All right. So it looks like we're okay with consent. All right, so CD2.
CD2, the applicant is SPH Holdings, LLC. They are represented by Kim Braunstein, who we are working with in the building department. They are requesting funds through the city's fire alarm and sprinkler grant program to install a new fire alarm and sprinkler system in the remainder of the Mary Knoll property, which is basically where Lupine currently is, all the way south to Mary Knoll Drive. So that entire stretch of property is what they are requesting. Now, this specific request is only for phase 1. They have a 3-phase project, but they are only looking to do phase 1 right now, which is the north portion of the building, not the south portion of the building. The phase 1 consists of 56,600 square feet of existing tenant spaces, including the Lupine, Salon 100, Farmers Insurance, Hollingworth Candies, Kids Above All, and Vitrec. The applicant, again, submitted contractor's estimates. They were itemized in your packet. This grant allows for a 50% match up to $20,000 for both fire alarm and a fire sprinkler. The applicant is eligible for the $20,000. I won't go through the numbers outside of the total number at this point with this one, including the Lupine, is $286,605. We recommend approval of Resolution 24-105.
Will they be eligible for sprinkler grants for other phases then, phase 2, phase 3?
Yes, and that would be in 2025.
Is
So,
that because they have multiple pins on the property?
yes, they have multiple pins on the property. They have 3 pins on their property.
So we should expect phase 2 to ask for another 20 grand and phase
Yes.
3 to ask for another 20 grand?
That would be our anticipation. The total project cost that they are looking to invest in the building is about $1.2 million that they are pursuing with their funding.
Okay. We good with consent?
Yeah.
And then lastly, CD3.
CD3 is, again, the applicant is also SPH Holdings LLC. They are requesting funds through the facade and site improvement grant program for facade improvements consisting of new metal fascia, soffit columns, repainting, new decorative storefront glass treatment. It is also located in the C2 Community Commercial District and is in the target area. This will cover the entire facade, north to south. That red arrow delineates where the overall improvements are occurring, as well as along the Mary Knoll facade. That is kind of at the upper right-hand image of your screen. What would be visible from Mary Knoll is what is included as well. Contractor bids were also included and itemized in your packet. The facade grant allows for a 50% match up to $20,000 per facade and $10,000 for site improvements with a maximum of $50,000 per property pin for construction and architectural costs. The total amount after all 3 approvals tonight would be $366,605. This specific one is for $80,000. It includes the 3 pins plus architectural fees.
Okay.
We recommend approval of 24-106.
Any thoughts, questions? Okay with consent? All right, it's all great. Yeah, this is
That's what the money's for.
that's what it's for. All right, very good. Thank you. All right, friends, and if there's nothing else, we'll just do a motion to adjourn. All right, Joanne? Second. Second by JR. All in favor?
Aye.